Hello and welcome to another episode of Chillin' with Dylan. I'm your host Dylan, and today we're doing things a little bit differently. This will be the first solo podcast in the podcast series, so you're literally just chilling with Dylan and just Dylan today. And the topic I will be talking about is titled, "Is it time to take a gap year?" Big question, of course. We've probably heard the word gap year a lot. There's also other words for this, like career break or fun employment, which is a good fun one. But essentially, what this is kind of taking time in between two major periods of your life. It could be anything, not just work, which a lot of your listeners will be in, working a job for a while, for a few years, etc. It could be the time in between studying at university or from high school to university and then working. The gap year concept is like an entire year where you're kind of exploring and getting to know yourself. Which I have done a few times, which I won't go into too much detail at the start, because it's a long CV, fortunately or unfortunately. But I'll bring in the experiences as I talk about this topic. So, first thing, I guess, for these sorts of things, you probably want to ask yourself, why do it? What's the purpose of taking a gap year or something like that. I think this is probably something, if you're very busy, it's hard to actually think about, but you might want to write something down in a notebook or your notes app on your phone, and maybe talk about it with people, because sometimes I think you need that kind of clarity. If this question keeps popping up and you're just really, really curious, or you just kind of can't get this idea out of your head, then it's probably worth actually asking these questions to yourself. Why would, you want to do a stint away from, say, your work or whatever it is. And there's many reasons. The most common ones, and personally, for me as well, I would say a gap year can unlock your time, so you might not be, locked down to your typical 9 to 5 days a week kind of work schedule. That's an opportunity to also have more time for reflection and to reflect on where you want to go next in your life, especially if you're not sure whether you want to kind of continue in the path that you've been on already for a while. It's hard to kind of have the clarity of thought sometimes with so many voices and people around you. So those are some things that might be beneficial to be doing either just before going on this kind of journey or during that process, and just finding ways to even document the little memories, your thoughts, notes, journal kind of ideas, because I guess from all the conversations I've had with friends and others, I feel like if you've kind of got this inkling in your heart, there's probably a reason for it. Maybe something's not working in your current life situation, or maybe you just are curious into a different kind of pace of life, but don't feel shame or ashamed of doing that. It's just worth asking those questions. I would say, if you have time, please read a bit of a plug, my article I've written called "The Time Value of Memories" on the Chillin' with Dylan podcast website. I think it's kind of like a framework of viewing how to make major life decisions. You're focusing kind of on the memories you'll create, the experiences you'll have, the growth, the learnings, rather than just kind of purely financial reasons, like maximizing your income or your net worth or whatever it is. or yeah, maximizing your GPA. That's another fun um, problem that I think many students will be doing. But yeah, I think um, try to get lots of sources of info, read the article, and then you can compare, value kind of how all these broad range of experiences or factors can help you make a decision. And the decision can be no or can be yes, to go for it or to, yeah, do whatever. But yes, so outside of why doing it, you probably want to think about what you want to do, what you want to achieve during, a time period away, unplugged, break from whatever institution you're currently in. One of the biggest things, the most exciting thing you can do, if you have the, privilege or the passport and visa and everything financially, is to travel. I've talked about it a lot. It's a bit of a meme among this podcast and amongst a lot of people I know, but travel opens up many doors and ways of looking at things. I think there's a quote I just remember somewhere now. It goes something like, I think the world is a book, and those who have not yet traveled or not traveled read only one page, which means that obviously the more you kind of see, especially places that challenge your cultural perceptions, it broadens your worldview and horizons, and that's worth any amount of gold, really, in my opinion. But yeah, traveling is one thing you can do. Go on Instagram or TikTok or something and follow the cool reels and creators there, if you need inspiration. And other things you can do, obviously working on side projects and hustles. I'll bring in the personal example where this podcast, Chillin' with Dylan, was actually started during a period of, let's just say, career break or fun employmenting, if that's even a word. Quite a while ago, actually, 4 years ago, in between a job I had and another one. I had 3 months, and yeah, I think that's a good time to start something, whether it's your YouTube channel, whether it's a business, or whether it's something else. Just all the extra time frees up your kind of mental capacity. So if you have ideas, that might be a reason, pointing towards doing it and taking a gap year or something. And another thing that, I think probably people don't talk about much is actually you might want to spend time with the important people in your life, like family, your parents, your siblings. If you're a parent, if you have a family, your children. I mean, it depends on the situation and what you can, support and do. But yeah, like family is really important, and you only have one family, especially grandparents. So I think honestly, that's something that, you shouldn't feel ashamed of doing if, like things are happening and you need to do that. Work can always wait often. That's what, I guess, what people have said anyway, there's nothing, you need to hide too much on that respect. Yeah, so many areas, but yeah, it's about you. I can't give you too much direction because every person is, I think, in their own stage of life, and you have different situations you're facing. But there's so many reasons to say yes to taking that leap. There's also some reasons maybe to say no, and that's okay. There's many practical aspects of taking time off. I think everyone's probably thinking, financially, what about this, what about that? Yes, that's true. you gotta ideally, um, if you're living, just build a financial buffer beforehand, in savings or whatever else. Investments, if you invest, okay, this is where also the time value of memories comes in, where you have investments that are earning, between 10 to 20% interest or growth, or 50% or 500% of its Bitcoin, and you can either let it grow forever and ever, or you can consider kind of, divesting, or just unlocking the value to achieve something in your life or others' lives. You can be doing something like volunteering and providing more than, say, 20% return on investment in other people's lives and in your life by what you learn. Hard to quantify, but that's something to consider. But it's not easy, so I won't lie, it's been hard a few of the times I've done it. But see what you want to assess, what your resources are, any support, and and I think just see what's out there, try your best to lean on it, and have gratitude, because it's hard to do everything yourself, and so be able to support others as well. So during this period, if you've gone for it and gone into a period of the unknown and all the exciting possibilities, it definitely helps to set goals and routines. So like we said, what was the purpose of doing this, and what do you want to do, what do you want to start. Sometimes even starting something that you've wanted to do for a while but not completing it is actually a good outcome of a time away. So for example, I built like a bit of a basic WordPress website for the podcast during the last period of I think gap year I had, and that was cool. So set that goal, track it with, there's a lot of apps and stuff out there. You got the likes of Airtable and Notion online, and you got your journaling, physical journal notebook things. Give me ideas, guys. Chuck it in the comments, or they can help you a lot. Set goals, set routines as well. Have a good wake up schedule. Maybe schedule and catch ups with people regularly, kind of just check-ins, people to keep you accountable for the goals that you've set. So I remember one thing I did when I was, I think, in between two jobs was I had a running routine, so that was fun. Just did it twice a week, like big runs, and then that kind of anchored the weekly schedule. But obviously it's all kind of dependent on your personal situations. I think there's not too much more to say. This is going to be pretty short because obviously I'm a single voice, and there's many voices to listen to, so get advice from others and those that care for you as well. And and if you're in the middle of a gap year, congratulations, I hope you're having fun. So the final kind of thing is, I think it's often easy to get caught up on all the unknowns and things outside of your control, and that's okay. You might not be able to land the next job, or that's dramatic. Anyways, maybe that means you should create your own job and and find freelance work or whatever it is. Um, so yeah, like that might be an opportunity to grow and put yourself under a bit of I guess pressure or commitment to create your own value in the world. But yeah, I would just want to encourage you, like, if this is something that still doesn't leave your mind, start maybe just setting aside time to think, write down, reflect, and plan financially and other ways what you're going to do. And I think that will excite you. There is really nothing to fear or worry about. You really can't add a single hour to your life by worrying about things outside of your control. Actually, you might actually lose. You could lose hours of your life by overly worrying or thinking. So, yeah, just encourage you. If you're listening and you got to this point, you probably maybe are interested in that life for obviously a temporary season. One of the biggest things that can happen is by changing up your schedule, you actually might open yourself up to spontaneous opportunities and connections that will come about in your life serendipitously. And if that ever happens, if you're listening to this podcast and it's happening, just take advantage of it, because I think half the time, from my own experience and from others who've done this, like sometimes that's the way that the next door gets opened in life, through a really crazy or coincidental connection to someone. As I say, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Maybe the who that you know is not necessarily the who or the people that might take you to the next step with your life journey. And I say life, which is that's just more aspects than just purely like career or other things like study. So yeah, don't fear. It's okay. There's always support. You can lean on people for help. Lean on wisdom from so many other sources online and in person. And yeah, live with the memories that can be gained in mind, and not just purely for a number or money or financial I guess objective, because you could easily lose, but then to gain you might have to sacrifice like income or something like that, for the unlocking of time, which is also money, which is also time, which anyways. So yeah, I am glad that you could listen to this podcast today, and keep an eye out for more episodes to come, whether they are solo, duo, trio, multi-level, multiverse, or whatever other versions I can have on this podcast. But have a great day. Good luck, and you've just listened to another episode of Chillin' with Dylan.